Hello dear students, let us continue with the chapter body movements. That was all about the bones which we learnt in the last class. In the last class we learned about the cartilage, right? In today's class we will learn about the muscles. Muscles is also a part of the body movement. Because of muscles we can stretch our body. Let us see how to do it. It is one of the important and the next part of the skeleton system, which is most important part, that is muscles helps us in movement. So what are muscles? They are the bundle of tissue with the availability to contract responsible for movement in the body. So these muscles that they have a speciality that they can contract, and into the muscles all movements takes place where the muscle which are or which have been taking about so far. We told that the joints are responsible for the movements, but makes the joint move. What makes the joint move? They move due to the muscles, and these muscles are real cause behind all the types of the movement. So if you think so, the rib cage, now when we breathe in and breathe out, what happens? What does the entire region? It expands and contracts. It expands and contracts. And it happens due to the presence of muscles, due to the presence of muscular structure. When we cook, we play, we jog, whatever activity we do in the parts of the body move, right? That is because they have a muscle involved in it. The heart beats during the beating of the heart. The muscles are cardiac muscles. See, so far we learned how the muscles are important. So there are three types of muscles, that is cardiac muscle, skeletal muscle, smooth muscles. So in skeletal muscle we learned that the parts of the body which we move, it's not only due to the joints or the tissue, it's also due to the muscles. Muscles help us to expand. Muscles helps us to expand or the contract responsible How? See, muscles are in between the tissue and the bone. The muscles are in between the tissue, after the tissues, that is in between the joint and the tissue. Okay, so there the muscles are present which helps us to move our body, which helps us to stretch our body. So in cardiac muscles, it helps us to breathe the heart, that is breathing rate. It helps us to breathe. It helps us to even know about the heartbeats, how fast it is going, how slow it is going. It helps us to know. Skeletal muscles is nothing but our hand skeleton, leg skeleton, wherever the joint is present in our body, everywhere there is a muscle. Okay, yes. And the smooth muscles which is in our stomach. Let us talk about our muscular movement. Before we talk about the muscular movement, so there are many types of movement which is possible due to only muscles, because the muscles initiate the movement and they are due to the presence of movable joints. So what exactly is the muscular movement? How the muscles help the movement? So as I said, the most important property that the muscle exhibits in that is they contract. What is contract? The movement is facilitated by the contraction of muscles. So it is easy to understand the contraction. Maybe you can think of a rubber band. So what happens to it? When you stretch, when you extend the rubber band, it can extend to its it will extend to its extent, that is it will expand to its limit. It is not unlimited extension, right? So based on its limit it will extend. Once you leave off the rubber band, what happens? it will be on the same position. So similar to that, when we stretch our hand, that time when we stretch, we keep stretch. Do we keep stretch whole day? No, right? We fold, we stretch, again we fold, again we stretch based on our activity. Or when you write a book, you have to fold your elbow and write. Do you write straight? No, right? Based on its based on its line, you write, right? So this is how the contraction happens in the movement of muscles. Okay, students? Yes, you have learned that what happens. Let us get back. You have learned what is contraction now. So when you take a cotton and dip it in the water, it takes out and becomes smaller. Why? Because the water is present inside the cotton now, right? So there is a contraction again in the muscles. So this is how the property of contract by this is contraction of muscle movement. This is how it happens. Now the contract of muscles happens only in the certain region of a human body which exhibits the muscular movement. Let us see what are the muscular movement of limbs. As I said, whenever you're doing an activity, you have to move your hand, wrist, fingers, and if you're walking and when you're jogging, you have to move your hips, legs, toes, ankles. That is the movement of the limbs. It might be upper limb, it might be lower limb, anything it might be. It is based, you can extend your body towards a certain limitation. Until and unless your body gets stretched, to what extent it will get stretched, you have to see that, right? To its limit it will get stretched. Suppose you have to run. How much fast can you run? Based on our energy that is present inside our body. So this is how the movement happens in the limbs. Movement of jaw, tongue and eyelids. We are able to talk only because our jaw is able to move. The lower jaw is able to move due to the muscles present, right? Yes. And tongue does not have any kind of bone, but there is a muscle inside the tongue. Okay. Eyelids. Why? We blink our eyes often, right? And that is also where our muscle is present over there. And do we blink our eyes continuously? Yes, we blink our eyes continuously. So now let us go to the next one. How do the muscles contract? Let us see how do the muscle tissue contract, or how do it cause. What is muscle tissue? Muscle tissue cause a movement. What kind of movement it cause? It cause a muscle fiber. What is a fiber? So do you know, students, how the fiber looks like? A fiber is a thread-like structure. So same here this is the muscle and here is the bone. This is the muscle. That is how it extends. Now when you take a rubber band, it will stretch, it will be back to its position. Again it will stretch, again it will be back to its position. So this is how the rubber band contracts like our body. So now when you extend your body, or when you do some exercise which is stretching your hand or your legs, you can extend it until you get pain, right? Otherwise you have to get back to its own position. So this is how the muscle tissue causes the movement. So muscle tissue is nothing but which contains a muscle fiber. So muscle fiber, I told you, it contains a contractile proteins. It is a contractile protein. What is contractile protein? It is nothing but the proteins which is present in our muscles. So whatever, to keep ourselves healthy, to keep the muscles healthy, we need to drink milk, we need to eat proper nutritious food. Only then you will get contractile proteins. Okay, students, did you understand? Only then you will be able to do the contraction and relaxation. Muscle fibers, okay, when you feel you have hurt somewhere and you want to stretch your body and you're not able to stretch it because of the uh, muscle tear or something. Why is it so? That is because you are not able, you have not done, you have not eaten a nutritious food, or it might be some clamp which has happened over there. So it should be relaxed. Our muscles should be relaxed to an extent. Only then you will be avoiding the pains. So the muscle should be contracted and it should be relaxed. Only then we can be able to keep our muscles strong. So muscles are contraction and relaxation cause the movements. Due to this contraction and relaxation, our muscles can move. Otherwise, it will be very stiff and it will be very painful if you're not able to move any kind of joint, such as if you're having a pain in your hand, that muscle should move. Only then you can move your body, or else you cannot. It might be a muscle tear, but you have to be very careful while playing or while going out or something. You have to walk safely, you have to be very careful. So to avoid all these things, the muscle should be very contractful and relaxative, or else it will not be, the muscles will not be strong. Okay students, I hope you all have understood what is the muscle movement, right? Let us continue this session in the next class. Thank you class, enjoy learning.